So I'm just going to be talking about different things you can do with your project. Right now, let me just make a new project. I'm just going to give you guys some tips on just how to make your own project, what to look out for. I'm not going to, for this final project that we're doing, because I showed you the other one last week. This one doesn't have a worksheet. There was no guides. You have the freedom to make whatever project you want, or whatever code you want, whatever program you want. You can make it. So you can make a game. You can make Minecraft. I know a lot of you are playing Minecraft. You can make a drawing. You can make an animation if you really want to. You can do anything that has to do with Scratch. Anything that's on Scratch, you can make it. Just wanted to give you some tips so if you get stuck of how to get unstuck. So you have the sprite. You can move your sprite around. You always remember that. And and you have all these. This left portion is divided up by categories. You have the motion blocks. You have the looks blocks, and they're all different colors. And you have the sound blocks. You have the event, and you always need to start a code with these event blocks that are kind of shaped like this. They're shaped like this. That's how you have a code to work. Because if you just place a code that says wait 1 second, then this code isn't going to do anything unless it's comes with a when this is clicked, or when the sprite is clicked, or when something else is clicked. So you always have to have one of these event blocks first attached to the code that you actually want to run. So you have the event, that's important. You have the control. You have a lot of different kind of statements. You have loops for repeating stuff. So this repeats 10 times. You can change this to repeat 20 times. You have a forever loop that just repeats forever. So whatever's inside of here. So for example, if I did motion 10 steps, then this would but this doesn't have, for this to actually run, I need an event block. So let me do this event block. So when I click this green flag, then it's going to move 10 steps forever. So that's what the loops do. The loops, there's if statements, and then you see kind of this trapezoid type shape. If you go to the sensing blocks, they will have the trapezoid. So if it's touching this mouse pointer, then it will run the code inside here. So if it's touching that, then let me do looks, and then you can just say hello. And this code right now won't run because I don't have the events block on top of it. So let me add an event block. Let's say when this thing is clicked. Yeah, let me do actually a forever loop on top of that. So it's always checking, because a lot of the times an if statement, you have to do a forever loop because you always want to be checking, especially when it's interactive with a user, because you don't know when the player or the user is going to be touching or when the sprite is going to be touching your mouse. Your mouse is going to be touching the sprite. So yeah, that's why I can have a forever loop. I'm going to start the game, and then it's going to say hello every time I touch it. Hello. So yeah, that's just another thing to look out for. Sensing obviously goes in the if statements, and there's if then. If a sensing block happens, then run the code, and you can have an if else as well. You do if something happens, do this. If this touch block, if it's touching this color, do run a certain. So let me do an example for if then. We do if it's touching. Yeah, let's say if it's touching, then I'll say change size by 10, and if I'm not touching it, then change size by -10. And again, event block, so I'm going to do the same thing, and I need a loop, so it's always checking to see if it's happening. So that's what you often need. You need to always be checking to see if the statement can execute or not. Mhm. So if I in this case, if I didn't have it the forever loop, I think it still works. So I do this. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. So yeah, this only works with forever loop just because it always has to be checking. If it's not always checking, then because if my mouse pointer isn't touching this sprite, then this is only going to change size by 10 once, and that's too small to notice it. But yeah, that's just an example. And so then there's operators, and you see this is kind of a new thing you haven't seen, where it's like a circle. You can add stuff together. You can add two different numbers together. Um, and this is just like the circle thing. It means a number. So, and you can input it into, this is also a circle. So you can do this, and you do 5 plus 15 plus 10 equals 15. And I can do, when I press the space button, I'm just going to change the size back to 100. 100. So if I press the space button, I want to turn it by 15 degrees, even though this says 5 plus 10. 5 plus 10 is equal to 15, so they would just do 15 degrees. I'm pressing the space button and turn it. So, and there's variables. I wouldn't worry about variables too much. If you have to do it, that means your code's probably too complicated. You mostly kind of want to use just the motion, the looks, the sound, and the events and the control, the sensing blocks. You kind of want to avoid even the operators. I would kind of avoid that because we haven't covered them into much detail. But yeah, I would focus a lot on the top ones that we have covered, especially the motion and looks. You can do a lot of stuff with that. And if you ever get stuck or you're ever interested in learning something, you can go to this tutorial. I know if you saw me, I just go to this light bulb, go to tutorials, and then you can code a lot of different things. You can code a cartoon. We haven't really talked too much about that. And then it will show you an example of a code, and it will kind of walk you through how to get that code step by step. So I don't know if this is gonna load or not, but you do see that all you have to do is click this, click any of these codes, and if you want to do something. So if you have any ideas of what to make, an adventure game, or animate something, you can kind of click these if you want inspiration or you're really just stuck or you just don't know what to do for your project, the final project. So yeah, let me just, oh yeah, I'm gonna have the videos here. And so this is the sample code as well. So there's the video that I just clicked off of, and then there's these sprites they already have, and you can do whatever you want with them, blah blah blah, and it's all interactive. So if you watch the video, you get to see what it'll tell you what to do or what you want to do with the characters or the sprites. But I'm not going to go through that because you guys can do that by yourselves. So, but yeah, let me just repeat of what I said before. We have a final project, and that's going to be on just anything you want to be. You can make a game, you can animate something, animate a cartoon, you can animate just a story, you can do kind of a game, you can do a quiz. There's so many stuff to do. You can, get inspiration through looking at the Scratch homepage and looking through other people's projects. The only thing I don't want you guys to be doing is to doing any remixes. I kind of want your projects to be original, because you guys could get ideas from other projects, but remixing is just changing only a slight, only changing the project by a little bit, and I want you guys to really make this project your own. Yeah, so a lot of this taking too long to load, but yeah, you can get inspiration from all these different projects. Good luck, and I hope to see your projects and hope to see you guys turn out well. Okay, we'll see you guys.